What's going on, YouTube? We're back here with another video. It's been a while since I've recorded an actual YouTube video, but I figured today is a perfect day where we can come out and we can talk about the C7 Z06. Everybody in their life buys cars at some point, and just like me, people out there have wished they known things about the car before they actually bought it. Same thing goes with this one and all the other Mustangs that I've had. So in this video, I'm going to tell you guys everything I wish I knew before I bought the C7 Z06, and hopefully this video helps anybody out there that's looking to buy a Corvette, not Z06 or C7 in particular, but just Corvettes in general. Like I said, it's been a minute since I posted a video, and we've had a bunch of new subscribers ever since then. So let me give you a little backstory and rundown of how I came to get this car and where I'm from. So basically, I am 21 years old. I've had 3 Mustangs and now this, and I also had a Malibu, but I don't really count that. But this is a 2015 C7 Z06. I sold my last Mustang GT in August of 2024, and right after I sold that, I flew to New Jersey and bought this thing. So I was looking for a car. I got tired of the Mustang. I had it for about 3 years. So I found this car on Facebook Marketplace. That's where I find all my car-related items and cars. I find them on Facebook Marketplace. I found this in New Jersey, talked to the owner for a while, really got to find out some things about this car. Then I flew to New Jersey, bought the car, and I drove it all the way back here to Florida. Now, like I said, this is a 2015 C7 Z06, and when I bought it, it only had around 14,000 miles. Yeah, 14,000 miles for a 2015 Corvette. So I definitely got a great deal, especially the price that I bought this car at. I got it for a great deal, and as you can see, everything on this car is pretty much blacked out. I did a few of the modifications myself, such as the tint, the dark tint. I couldn't drive around with a fishbowl anymore. Now, if you were like me and you are looking to get a Corvette as your next car, it doesn't have to be C7 Z06, but if it is in particularly, I'm going to tell you guys exactly what I wish I knew. And starting off, I'm going to give you some good things and I'm going to give you some bad things. But the number one thing I wish I knew before I bought a C7 Z06 is that the gas mileage, it's going to be god awful. Okay, I had a Mustang for my whole life pretty much. I have had 3 different Mustangs, and the gas mileage was bad, but it wasn't bad. I had catless headers on that, and I still got around 14 to 15 miles per gallon, which isn't awful, but it's not great either. This thing, it gets around 9 to 10 miles per gallon, and if you do not have a daily and you daily this, you're going to be living at the gas station pretty much. That's pretty much what I do to this day. I kind of daily this thing, kind of, but not really. It's kind of in between, but I do drive this a lot, and I live at the gas station pretty much. Then again, I also have catless headers, and I also drive the car how it's supposed to be driven. I don't baby it every single day, so that's another reason why you're going to be living at the gas station. But if you have this car, you're not really going to go easy on it unless you're a 80-year-old grandpa. But look at the car. Obviously, you're not going to care about the gas mileage when you get to drive around in something that looks like this. So unless you can't afford spending so much gas on this car and living at the gas station, I would not recommend buying a Corvette, especially a catless Corvette, or doing anything of that nature done to the car in which the gas mileage is going to drop significantly. But if you can afford it, go right ahead, buy the car. It is definitely worth it. Now I'm going to tell you guys something, a good thing that I wish I knew before I bought this car. And that good thing is going to be how much attention you're going to get when driving something that looks like this. And I'm not talking for the people who are going to get just a base version and not do anything to their cars, which majority of you guys are probably not going to get a base car and do nothing to their car. You guys are probably going to do something as far as tint, a lip, spoiler, anything done to the car. When you drive something around that looks like this, I did not know the amount of attention that you're going to get when driving on the road or even just parked at a gas station. I would get a little bit of attention here and there with my Mustang, pretty much because of how loud it was, but this isn't even getting looks because of the noise it makes. Yes, it's extremely loud with catless headers and AWE catback exhaust, but driving this thing, the presence it has on the road, a lot of people say this is the American version of the supercar, which I'm not going to disagree. It kind of looks like an American supercar, and it's probably the cheapest car that you're going to get that's going to be on that supercar level. It's not a supercar obviously, but it's pretty much almost there. So if you like attention, buy this car, because I promise you, you're going to have people talk to you left and right. I go to the grocery store, I go to Publix sometimes just to get groceries, and I literally made a TikTok about it. I was putting stuff away, and some old guy came up to me and just talked to me for like 45 minutes about this car. It's going to happen. So if you like attention, buy this car. It's perfect. Now, something that I wish I knew before I bought this car, which it wouldn't have stopped me from buying a Corvette, but something I wish I knew I was prepared for, So I recently found out that Corvettes, especially C7 Corvette stock wheels, are known for cracking. If you guys have been paying attention to any of my other videos on my platforms, I went through a whole mess with a wheel that was cracked because the C7 Corvette wheels, the stock ones, are known for cracking. So what must have happened was I was driving and I must have went over a pothole. So this tire over here started losing a bunch of air and I thought, okay, there's probably a nail in my tire. So I took off the tire and I looked at the wheel and everything, could not find the nail anywhere. We ended up doing a water test and we found a crack in the wheel. So this wheel was cracked. Well, not this one particularly, but the stock C7 wheel that I had was cracked. We took it off and then I had to buy a whole new front set for this side and that side. As you can see, that wheel is different from that wheel. That's the stock C7 wheel. So I'm just worried that these back two might crack next because they're known for cracking, but these two up here are aftermarket wheels. So I'm just hoping this doesn't crack before I have to buy a drag pack. Now this next thing I'm going to tell you guys is something I already knew because I've already had sports cars in the past, but something about American cars that some of you might not know is that the capabilities of modding these things are unlimited. Like, there are so many different things that you can do to these cars in order to mod them compared to other cars which you might be limited to. These things are limitless. You have so many different things you can do. This car has so many mods done to it, unlimited mods that you can do to these cars. I'm talking from under the hood to the trans to the exterior. As you can see, we have a front lift, we have tires, we have different ZO6 badges on both sides. I'm gonna get a carbon hood eventually. Tint, you have anything from the inside. You can customize the interior to whatever color you want. I have red guts in here, which is probably my favorite interior that I've ever had on any cars. You could do spoilers, diffusers, exhaust, custom plates. There's so many different things you can do to these cars, which I absolutely love, where on other cases on some cars you can't really do much. Let me show you guys the inside of the car, what I'm talking about. Look at this. As soon as you open the door, you're greeted with this red interior. Just look how beautiful that is. And I also have these Starlight floor mats that I also sell. It is in my website, adamhosk.com. If you're interested, go check them out. I have 2 dash cameras. I have a radar. There's so many different things that you can do to this car. I'm also going to throw this in there while we're talking about the inside of the car. This thing has a big trunk, a lot bigger than you think this have. You can probably fit maybe 2 sets of golf clubs. So it opens up on this side like that, and you could probably fit 2 sets of golf clubs. It's pretty big. A reason why people think they can't get this car is because they look at it, they see how low it is to the ground, and they think that they can't fit in the car, maybe because they're tall or maybe because they're really big. Let me tell you, I am 6'3" and I fit in this car with absolute ease. I have plenty of headroom up top. My knees don't hit the steering wheel because the steering wheel is adjustable to go up, down, in, or out, which I absolutely love because I am 6'3" and I did not think I was going to fit in this car, but I do with ease. So comfortability on this car, I would give it a 10 out of 10, but if we're talking a road trip, it's probably not the greatest car to take on a road trip. I drove from New Jersey to Florida. It was comfy, but it could definitely be comfier because it's a sports car. It's low to the ground. It's kind of tight for long trips, but you're driving 30 minutes to an hour. It's not bad at all because you're not really going to notice that when you're driving something like this, especially how fast and loud this thing is. Now I'm going to get into more specifically a C7 ZO6 on what you should expect, and I'm leaning more towards the power that you're going to have at the palm of your hands. When I first got into this thing in New Jersey and I started driving it back home, I didn't really know how to react because I hit the gas and it felt like in my Mustang it was almost double to triple the power. That supercharger is just an instant power. This is far from a stock Z06, so maybe a plain base Z06 not modded might be a little different with mods done to it. And this thing has, I'll get into the mods actually in a little bit, but with all the mods done to this thing, it's pretty much just a straight rocket ship. And I did not know that before I bought this car. I knew it had mods done to it, but I was not ready for the power that this thing made. And also another thing, I'll pop the hood for you guys and show you some mods, but one thing, I was with my friends when I first got the car and I was not sure how to pop the hood, and they kept telling me to pop the hood. So I found out it's all the way down here and you have to grab, where's it at? Oh, there it is. So you grab it like this and you pull down. And when you pull down, it opens up like that. Just grab it and lift it up very so slightly, and boom, there you have a supercharged LT4 motor. Let's just jump into the mods that you guys can see. So this baby right here is a supercharged LT4 lid that is upgraded. Usually it just says Corvette LT4. This says supercharged LT4 upgraded lid. That helps with the heat soaking because in these years they had heat soaking problems. They would get way too hot. So this is upgraded lid, helps make the wine louder, and it helps cool it down faster. This is a Corsa Performance carbon cold air intake. Just look at that carbon. Look at that carbon. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. We got a Corsa carbon intake. We have an upgraded throttle body. We have ported blower. We have catless Cooks long tube headers down there connected to an AWE catback exhaust. And yeah, this thing shoots flames on the highway, which is probably one of my favorite things about this car. I love how it shoots flames. And something that a lot of people do not know about this car, that this has an upgraded transmission, a built trans, and this thing has capabilities of going to 1200 horsepower plus. But I'm not at that point. Before I get to that point, before I want to get to that point, I need to buy another car, because I'm not going to be able to daily a 1200 horsepower Corvette. But when that day comes, this thing is going to be an absolute monster. We're going to get a different tire setup. We're going to get a whole bunch of different stuff. Maybe run meth one day. You never know. Now, when buying these cars, you know they're supercharged. So I'm talking about the ZO6. You know they're supercharged, and you know they have a whine like a Hellcat, like a ZL1. But when you have catless headers with an AWE catback exhaust, or any exhaust in general, just catless headers, these things get stupid loud, and you're not going to be able to hear the supercharger whine as much as you'd like. I only hear my supercharger whine when I'm cruising. It's just a solid whine. You can hear it very faintly. Your passengers might not be able to hear it, but you can tell that there's a supercharger whine there. When you buy these cars, if you want to hear the supercharger whine, do not get catless headers. Make the car have maybe a Valvetronic exhaust where the valves can open and close. That way you can hear it when you want, because that's what I plan on doing with this. I want to get an exhaust, open and close the valves, that way I can hear the whine more. I could barely hear this whine unless I'm cruising. I've been talking about the exhaust and the catless headers, and I'm sure you guys are really curious to see what this thing sounds like. So I'm going to give you guys some sound clips. I'm going to set up the tripod and let you hear this thing. I'm going to put the tripod right in the front here, that way you can try to hear the supercharger whine, just to see if you can hear anything, but I doubt you'll be able to. So like I said, we have Cooks catless long tube headers connected to an AWE exhaust. Let's give you some sound clips. Not sure if you guys are able to hear the whine or not, but this thing is extremely loud. Just listen to that idle. I'll have to check the footage later to see if you guys can hear anything, but I couldn't hear anything inside of that car. So I'll have to get a video of me driving and cruising one day in order for you guys to actually hear the whine. But the car does sound good at least, so that's a plus. But yeah, those are all the positives and the negative things that I wish I knew before I bought the C7 Z06. Needless to say, I am glad I bought it, and I wouldn't take anything back. I am glad I bought it for the price that I did. When you guys get this car, I'm sure you're gonna absolutely love it as well. Never gets old, man. And we got the 360 set up right here. We got it on the car right now, and we're gonna go film some content that you guys can see of this car driving. Obviously, we need to throw it into track mode. One more. There we go. Wait for it. Boom, track mode. Look how cool that looks. You guys can't tell me that that doesn't look sick, like we're driving like an F1 car. That is one of the coolest things I like about this car. Another thing about this car is that it is just so easy just to like cruise. Like, obviously you're gonna want to hit the gas all the time and just floor it, but it's such an easy car just to like cruise around. And that's why I say that this is also a great like car you can daily drive. People don't think that you can daily drive cars like these, but I beg to differ. I really think you can. Picks up so fast, and the brakes on these things are absolutely crazy. Handling is something I've never experienced in my entire life. I've never drove a car with handling like this. We got another C8 right here. There are C8s everywhere where I live. Literally C8s everywhere. And that's why this thing stands out so much, because there's not a lot of C7 Z06s around here. can hear the whine a little bit. I don't know if you guys can tell, but you can hear the whine a little bit. Cool things about the inside of this car. Hit the screen button. Look at that, screen goes down. That's pretty cool. That's always a little cool party trick I like to show people. In here you also have temperature on the passenger side, flat bottom steering wheel. The inside of these cars are definitely underrated. People don't talk about it enough. But this is going to be the end of today's video. If you made it this far in the video, make sure to leave a like. Make sure you subscribe if you have not already. Make sure to leave a comment. And I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.